Hey everyone, how's everyone doing this afternoon? We got our favorite secret agent, Mr. Ryan. Ryan's Gay Chicago. Uh, Myself and Ryan back in the saddle again.
Bonsoir, bonsoir.
Oh man,
Good evening, everybody. Thanks, Amir, for
yeah,
having me, and
yeah.
thanks
So
for showing your support today.
Oh yeah, well, it's definitely been an endeavor of a lot of different emotions, a lot of different things going on, and but my whole modus operandi, my whole mo is just we can't slow down. We're not going to slow down, and we just want the people to know
Mm,
who want to see change happen. That
right.
look at the graphic. We want these agents of chaos to disappear, and we're not going to slow down until we get the end result, right? So that's why we're doing this. It's not about building a
Oh,
platform.
by the
It's not about
question for you.
aggrandizement. But go ahead. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, and I agree with
I'm
that. I
listening.
totally agree. Um,
Okay,
how
go
is
ahead.
your eye? I keep forgetting to ask you that. I haven't asked you that in private or in public in a while. How is your eye feeling? Because
This is
that's
the one
what.
that's fractured. You can see it. You can see an indentation. It's right there. Yeah,
So it was this part right here.
yeah. That's it. That's it. That's where
Wow.
it's. Yeah, it's gonna take 6 months to heal. But I mean, if unless you look really close, you can't see it.
Do you still have, and that for those that are tuning in that are not aware, so there was a mob action violence on July 14th in Harvey in the evening. I was there, Amir was there, other people were there because we were we just went to this block of Myrtle in Harvey, and it happened to be that Jed was conducting illegal evictions with the protection of Harvey police, and so we were covering that, but also just that's the one of the famous blocks in Harvey because that's where the residents were being kicked out of their homes. I mean, so there's been so much activism that's gone on that block. So that evening, Amir was injured. So they beat on, they kicked Amir. They were the most brutal to him, his daughter, me, and then Beth as well. Did I forget anybody?
Uh, Minister Pusely,
Oh
Joe,
yes,
Joe.
thank you. Okay, and Joseph too. Um, so that's when I'm asking about that, that's where Amir got his eye real bad. Is that where he kicked you?
Well, not Jedidiah, but Raheem Sharks actually kicked me in the eye socket, and
Ooh.
that was after Jed jumped on my back. I mean, I've been living this thing for probably the past 2 3 months, but yeah, that's where I think the bigger effect came from being kicked in the eye socket.
Mm,
Probably the multiple times that I got kicked in the eye socket, but I'm a I'm a I'm a strong dude, big guy, built like a football linebacker. And, I think if it were anybody else, it might have been more severe than it was for me. So, we're taking care of it. But yeah, I'm just fortunate
mm.
that, that I was able to, sustain it with minimal damage, long term.
Right. I mean, but it's still horrible for you. But I know what you mean. I mean, imagine if instead it had been someone with a real petite frame or something. I
Right,
mean,
right. I don't think that they would have been able to sustain it. I mean, that kind of yeah, it's just I feel fortunate, but again, we're definitely dealing with it, and we got we got I don't even want to say surprises, but for lack of better use of the word, um, we got some October surprises coming up for
mm,
Mr. Brown and his INA team, and you know we call them the agents of chaos, or the leader is an agent of chaos, and the other ones are just the followers of the agents of chaos, and they're all together collectively chaotic.
right. Yes. And we heard last night in the I covered the Harvey City Council meeting, and we heard um, Mayor Clark go on at length about and not only did he not denounce all of the terror and the harassment and the unnecessary violence and
Right.
having Hassan arrested for doing nothing wrong and all that. He didn't denounce any of that. he actually went on and on about how he thought he likes Jedediah. He thought he was a good person and that he was helping Harvey. And it's like how could you talk about someone like that just and lie and not care that you're the mayor and you've put out the welcome mat to someone and his crew, other people that are destroying the city. They're not helping.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you this. For Christopher Clark, the mayor of Harvey, to be a sitting mayor, I think he's one of the most tragic excuses and examples of a mayor that I've ever seen in a while, Ryan. And for me, you are actively endorsing someone who has caused chaos in the community. He's not a public official. You're doing things and you're saying things that acknowledge basically your connection to this person. So, it's a bad move. It's a bad look, and Harvey unfortunately has to be stuck in the middle, and they have to be held hostage to this foolishness. Mayor Clark, Mayor
Right.
Clark is he's a tragic case for a mayor, and I'm glad that he did what he did because again, the more he shows his connection to this person, the more that he makes my job easier and our job easier, and especially in the days ahead, especially when we have our October surprise for Mr. Clark and some of the Harvey officials on the ground who they need to see what's coming. So we haven't forgotten.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me the hubris as far as like you would think Jedediah and his a group have done so much damage and brought so much harm just to people in Harvey and associated with Harvey. It's like if anything, the mayor should be repudiating Jed and saying no, 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 I don't support him, I don't back him, I don't want him here. But yeah, he was doing the opposite last night. It was really it's just crazy how they're doubling down, and that relates to our to as we're giving more Jet updates. So I covered the meeting last night, and then I did a brief. I know you did a live on Jimmy. What's his
The
name?
Jimmy Kimmel
Not
thing.
Jimmy.
So I'm glad to get back to the local, the Thorn Township stuff because people want to
Yeah.
know and they're concerned about it. I'm a journalist. You can look up my Huffington Post page at greggreer.huffingtonpost, my former name. But you can still see a lot of my articles that were published. But I'm a journalist, so I cover everything. And for me, the local piece is really what people want to be informed about it because of the level of change that they want to see, and that's why we keep doing these lives because every time something happens, we'll say, "Hey, Ryan, we got to let the people know what's going on. We got to keep updating the people," and that's the only reason why
Mhm.
we're doing this. No other reason, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think the several people had let me know, and they messaged me. They were concerned because after I did the live of the city council meeting last night, and then I did a like a recap, a live recap, and I got off, and then I had a few people reach out, and they said, you really need to watch. You need to check out
Yeah,
Jedediah's live because he's saying things that are really
yeah.
really bad. And some of the things are about you. So I watched, and sure enough, more threats from Jedi. So like I said, people were concerned. I got an email again, like you really, watch Jed's latest video. You need to be careful. Um, be careful, people lurking around. If you're seeing suspicious stuff, it might be connected to him. It's just so I think. Everybody. There's so many people who have been so positive and so supportive to me, to you, Amir,
Hmm.
to others, um, to Colby, to Melissa, to anybody who's being harassed by bullies. Like, we appreciate that. And sometimes it's just as simple as a text, a call, an email to say, hey, heads up, this person's threatening you again, or hey, I just wanted to check in.
Uh-huh.
Are you okay? Hey, what can I do to help? I appreciate that. So I just want to thank, Amir, especially because he's there all the time. He always goes with me to if I need someone to go to the courthouse or just to research things because we don't have a ton of money. we're just average citizens. We're doing most of this stuff pro se. We just want to see justice done in our communities, and we want to see people treated fairly. And I know Amir feels this way because I definitely do. Like, I hate seeing people bullied and harassed and treated unfairly. Like, that just really bothers me. For myself, yes, but I mean for others too. And unfortunately, when you feel that way and you speak up, then you often become a target. But it's all right. We're here to support each other in that, because that's the only way we're going to win against these bullies. I don't care if it's Trump or Clark or Jedidiah Brown. These guys, they don't understand. Oh well, if you just you might hear some people say, Amir, well, maybe if you just stay quiet, don't ever talk about Jed or Clark or whoever, right? Just don't say anything and they'll go away. Once in a while that might work for some bullies, but most bullies, and definitely the kinds that we're dealing with, that we're seeing in our communities, like I said, like Clark and Jed, if anything, they perceive that as weakness, and then they'll come after you even more. So that's why we all have to keep, sticking together, supporting each other, and saying, "Hey, we want freedom of speech. We want communication. We want transparency with finances. Like we want these things in all of our communities, and we're going to keep fighting for it." So again, people reached out to me last night, which I was so grateful for that. I had a hearing today, and and the judge.
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
Thankfully.
wait a minute. You're not doing this thing in sync. I want you, because this
What?
is, I know this is not aggrandizement, so let's throw our disclaimers up really quickly. You know, our thing is we want to
Did I?
approach this thing as factually based, as ethically based, and within the confines of the law. But you are entitled to protect yourself. It's one of the things that I've always said, to you. And I said, hey, I'll stand behind you, and I'll stand by you, whatever you decide. Some things I didn't agree with, some things I did. But the bottom line is, it didn't matter whether I disagreed with it or I agreed with it. You've always had a right to protect yourself, and that's what I've told you. I've told everyone else. I've told Vivian, and even Beth. We've had these conversations. So for me, I get my satisfaction out of seeing justice prevail the way that it should prevail. Never mind, that this person should have been
Mhm.
stopped ethically with legal challenges way before what we did. But if it takes us to make the change and be the change, then we have to be the change. And you've been brave,
Mhm.
I told you before, and that's what it is. So my thing is that and here's my thing. Give me 1 second. I got to get a troll out of the stream. You can take it. Just take it on. I just want you guys to know that, I just want everyone to know, and everyone who's watching to know that, we're not stopping. We're not stopping. We're going to continue on. And I just want you to know, and everyone else to know, that a change is happening. People feel like we were quiet for a long, long time, and we weren't quiet. We were just going through the motions of talking to this authority, that authority, this office, that office. Ryan will tell you, we've probably been in several offices of several different structures of legal and courts over the past 8 weeks. I mean, and I can tell. I can also say we probably lived in the courtroom or in the courthouse for probably the better part of half of that. So, all right, that I just had to throw that disclaimer out there.
Oh, you mean that we've just been, in other words, we've been working on things behind the scenes for
And
sure.
we haven't slowed down,
And
and the culmination is, we see movement happening today. So your announcement is, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I had to go through that diatribe to get back to what
no,
where
no,
we're at.
that's okay. Um, yeah, because I just wanted to well, we want to let
Right.
everyone know. Yeah, so I had a hearing today, and Judge Gump, I just wanted to give him credit because I know I criticized him and Judge Corbin before, but I'm appreciative that Judge Joseph Gump is his name, and he he took more time today, and had a motion to reconsider. filed, and so he granted or reinstated the motion to reconsider and a motion to reinstate. So he the emergency no contact order, and then we will have a plenary. We scheduled another plenary hearing, so for later in November. So that was very positive, and I appreciate that. And it was much better without Jedidiah there. I don't know why he didn't show. He knew he had court today, but it was nice to not have someone like constantly like trying to yell in your face. And the judge was able to take his time and read the documents, and I feel like it wasn't nearly as rushed today. So, right, and Beth, I see Beth said that in the comments as well. Judge Gump listened carefully today. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And so at least I feel a little bit better that I have more, protection, more legal protection to keep myself safe. And I know many of you were concerned, especially after seeing last night's video that Jed made. So at least I have that, to last until the hearing in November. So again, thank you everybody for your support. And
Definitely,
I'm grateful.
definitely. And Brian, and Status Quo and Ramon and Beth and everyone who's been, supporting and just really standing in there. We definitely appreciate you guys. We can't say everybody's name, but if we see you, we'll call you out. But just thank you for just listening and being there and watching. And you guys are consistent throughout the whole spectrum of like, from myself to Conscious to who's ever out there doing things, that when you guys are following and sharing this information, it really helps because it keeps the public informed. Um, Ryan's, I will say, Ryan being adamant about, this order of protection, it's just one thing, it's just one aspect of it, but you'll see more in depth without saying what it is. You'll see more in depth things going on in October. And, I believe, and I can say 100% for sure that we've slowed Mr. Brown down. We've slowed Brown the clown down. And I think that we'll continue to do so. And regardless of whatever narrative he tries to spin, I think that the bed is made for him and Christopher Clark, and they can lay in it together if they want to, and literally. And let that bed burn up in flames because that's what's happening. The people are tired of this negativity, and nothing's getting done in between time for a sitting. I have to say this one more time, for a sitting mayor of a city that is this city is in flames. It's broken in every respect. But
Absolutely.
you are giving credit to. I mean, I would have felt better that he talked about the cleanup effort that Colby Chapman and everyone else did, respectively, in the city. And
That was the most positive thing. That was
that's
the
where you
most
place
positive thing
emphasis,
to
right?
happen in a while. And you notice that Mayor Clark made absolutely no mention of that at all. I mean, that's
Or
crazy. It's
what
crazy.
about the crime and like I believe it was the 14-year-old that was shot, and one of the commenters last night, I forgot her name, but she spoke on. So my thing is that these are the things that we have to highlight, Mayor Clark. So I'm gonna need you, sir, to go back to political political justice or social justice 101 or political what's the political course that everybody has to take in college, the 101. I can't think of what it is. American politics 101. That's what I need you to go back to that because you are really doing the public a great disservice. So and in many
Mm.
areas, status said many areas, I'm gonna use your quote, status quo, in many areas, you are failing. And so what we're going to do here is there's going to be an October surprise. So just if you're joining us, and I want to recap, Ryan has his order of protection. So if you guys see anything, hear anything, we need your eyes and ears. Let us know because I mean, if that order is violated under no uncertain terms, we will react. We will not react. Right? Am I right or wrong? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think Ryan froze up, guys. So Status, yep, from the outside, Harvey is in shambles as far as the leadership. And yes, even from the outside, as far as the leadership, but I mean, even the aesthetic, and you got to remember, if you go back, if you guys can go back, Status and the folks who are listening, we got you now, Ryan. I think you're still freezing up a little bit. Okay, there you go. You're back in. Did you catch all
I
that?
know. I still apologize. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, you seem to be.
No. Could you say that again? I'm sorry, I
Well,
didn't get
no, no.
that.
What we're saying is just for what we have to do is we just have to, if anybody sees anything, hears anything, we need their eyes and ears to be, to be the caption and let us know. And
Mm,
we would definitely capitalize, excuse me, I should say. We will capitalize on it. We won't let anything pass us, because if that order of protection is violated, your order of protection, my order of protection, or anybody's is violated, we'll definitely
hmm
address it, and these are all separate cases, I want to say. And we are interested in helping the public on a greater level. But everything that we're doing is, it starts from self-protection, because
mm,
Ryan's been threatened. I have my reasons. I don't feel the threat piece. But what I do want to do is, I do want to go through legal channels, because if I had not gone through legal channels, then I would have handled the situation that I've been dealing with in another way. And I didn't do that the last time. So my thing is that, legal is always the best way. And I mean, it's paying off big time,
mm.
it's paying off.
Right. No. Absolutely. I agree. And I just wanted people to see that it really is about uh, keeping ourselves safe and protected, and it's not some kind of game. It's not a joke to us. It's not some sort of racket or scheme to try to what
Scam the people a lot, and and make it,
who's
and
Jed been accusing us of, or and Mayor Clark said last night, like, oh, frivolous lawsuits, and wasting. I've heard criticisms, wasting money or wasting the public justice system. No, excuse me. This is actually what we have a justice system for. It's to protect us from people like Clark and Jed, people that abuse their powers, they're bullies, and they hurt people. They steal things, like they push those our residents out of their homes. They hurt, they do harmful things, and we just are trying our best to navigate the justice system so that it can at least restrain these people from causing all this harm.
And guess what, guys? They're paying attention. They really are, and I can't emphasize that enough, because they are paying attention. Hey, real quick before because we don't have a lot of time. I know that. I got a 6 o'clock, and that's in like 15 minutes. But I wanted to show this video from the cleanup, and the only reason why is because it bothers me, and I think that we need to address that. And if there's anything else, but let me just show this video real quick. I want to show a little bit about it. Okay, give me 1 second, Ryan, and everybody. Let me know if you can hear this.
We are not sending any communication to anybody directly. I am, under the rights of the Constitution, expressing and sharing my personal experience and things that I'm going through. And as an advocate, I'm bringing awareness to some of the things that is kind of sort of being attempted to happen. And so I do have what I believe to be a stalker, and it is very strange to be stalked when but it's something that I've kind of sort of had to become accustomed to since I've been a public figure, which is permitting most of my life. But this is a post that was made on September 18th, says utilizing an unrelated event to further a scandalous agenda is truly unfortunate. These perpetrators and scam artists have no qualms about exploiting any situation, regardless of how unscrupulous your lack
Let's
of
let them read
legitimate
this.
involvement is in the event, is evident by your omission from the promotional materials. Furthermore, your questionable credibility and history of misconduct in the community raise concerns about your participation. It will be prudent for you to withdraw from this event. No one wants you. Your actions are perceived as disingenuous and detrimental to the community. Please know you will always be remembered as a traitor, an agent of chaos. Every dog has its day. Yours will end soon. The people are not dumb. Shut them down. So the last particular line, especially in light of Charlie Kirk's situation, causes great concern for us because it says that every dog has its day.
So now he's saying that every dog has its day as a threat. Every dog has its day as a threat. I'm gonna try to see what court of law will he be able to pull it off in, right? But here's the part where I wanted to get to because I can't deal with him too much, at least not tonight. But this is the part where I wanted to highlight, and this is
Whoa, man,
what it was all
amazing
about.
car.
Hold on
When did you
one
become a
second.
millionaire?
Let me
What is this
get
for?
past
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
I made my.
On
All right.
her page,
Now watch this.
her personal page, as you go, this is what she wrote. 200 hot meal giveaway in Harvey today. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that say? Thank you, Mr. Black _ Jedi, for helping us coordinate. You don't have to spend time going back.
Okay, so Jed, here's my question to you, buddy. Here's my question to you because we know scams when we see them. How did she know your name is Black, and why does she call you Black? I mean, first of all, your name is not Black. Your name is Jedidiah. And most of the time in the Islamic community, especially somebody who's an educated doctor, I doubt very seriously that she would call you Black. But even if she did, for worst case scenario, this educated person who is from Islamic Relief USA is calling this agent of chaos and saying thank you for what? You didn't do anything. You didn't supply the food. You weren't even there because the facility the church was the facility, and they didn't even know anything about you, sir. So my thing is that we know scams. We've seen you do this enough time and time again, and it's just played out. It's like a broke record. You know how the old vinyl used to skip, and it would hit that one part and go back and hit it again and hit it again. It's like, dang, this thing keeps skipping. We got to stop this. It's not even musical anymore. It's just pathetic. So our thing is that, like I said, you're not dumb, and I didn't use GPT. For those who know me, know that this is how I speak because I'm a trained journalist. And it doesn't take with a journalist, it doesn't take a lot of thought process to write good, correct, grammarly correct sentences. I may not say it, but I mean, if you listen to the way that I talk, then you would know. I don't have to use Chat GPT. Maybe you do, but I don't. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it loud and clear. It's very pathetic that it burns me that you would try to put your name on an event that you had nothing to do with. Even if you made a phone call, let's say if you made a phone call, it's still nothing to do with you. You didn't provide the resources. That's the mission of Islamic Relief USA. Mayor Clark was a standby. He was just there because he's the mayor of the city and not a great mayor at all. The church and the Islamic Relief Organization who facilitated it are the heroes of the hour, and you guys didn't do a goddamn thing. So let's keep these things in perspective and stop sticking our chest out and beating our chest to shit that you guys don't have nothing to do with, and let's focus on the things that you should be focusing on. Like if you really wanted to show people something, Brown or even Mayor Clark, you should have had your asses out there on the cleanup with Kobe Chapman. That would have been a great show, I think. Or a lot of the crime that's happening.
See that?
Huh? What?
I was talking with another person about that. That we were disappointed that even though we get accused by Jed and Clark and others, that we're wasting resources. We have frivolous lawsuits. we are taking things personally and we're negative and we're not doing anything positive. Actually, we do a lot of positive. When I was talking with this other Harvey person, we were saying, you know, if Delaney Smith had showed up, or Tyrone Rogers, or Christopher Clark, or Jedidiah Brown, anybody, if they had showed up to that wonderful positive cleanup on Sunday, we would have welcomed them. You know, it really isn't personal. Like at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but at least for me, I just want to see good things done in the city. So it's disappointing that they decided not to show up and to ignore the event, because if they wanted to come and do something positive, I wouldn't be someone to say, oh, you can't because, you know, you've done all these horrible things. In a way, I would have a right to be upset and not to want to see them, but like that's not how I conduct myself.
Yeah, and the thing about Jed going after Kobe Chapman, guys, looking, it's not real. There's nothing sincere about it. This is either it's a proxy of Clark, and Clark trying to squash her political ambition, or he feels like because, you know, he has a target on his back, maybe he feels like she's a available target. But the thing is, she's not. So we want her to do everything that she's been doing. She doesn't have to get, you know, she doesn't have to scrabble, you know, in the bull pit. You know, I can do that, you know, or others can do that. The community can do that, because, you know, that if that's what it takes to get rid of these guys, then that's what it's going to take. But I will say, you know, for everybody, and welcome Crazy, and thank you Status for what you said. I mean, as far as a great point, and you know, we have to fight this crime. We cannot let lawlessness exist. Harvey is indicative of not a lot of communities in Chicago. It's definitely a rare in Chicagoland and abroad. It's definitely a rare community, but the lawlessness side is what really concerns me, because and very soon it's gonna attract. It's like roaches to filth. It's gonna attract a certain element who's gonna come there and think that they can get away with whatever they can, because you're starting to see these elements rise. You know, how many shootings have there been within the last month? I mean, I don't know. I lived in Chicago over 20 years ago as a child, but you know, I mean, I don't remember the level of violence that you're starting to see now. So I think it's starting to permeate, and hopefully I'm wrong. You know, hopefully I'm wrong. So
yeah, it's just and we really got no response, you know, last night when I mentioned in my public comment all the fires. I'm like, you know, the mayor canceled the last meeting. He canceled the last meeting. We're a city in crisis. We still don't know where our public money is going, because he refuses to open the books. So we're fighting to try to figure out how our money is being spent. He praises a bully and someone who's violent, you know, Jedidiah and his people.
With no credibility. This is not a, I'm sorry, I do want to say this, and then this is not an elected official. He's not a public servant of any type. And, you know, you're praising him, and then you're saying you're glad he came. But my question to Mr. Clark is, you're glad he came to do what? What are you glad about? What is he doing? That's the question. And I need you to answer that. So hopefully the next meeting, and then Melville, is that his name? The minister, Melville? Is it Melville or Melvin?
Yeah, Melville King. Mm-hmm.
Melville King, you know, and he's been kind of focusing in on other areas, but I mean, he even addressed it last night, because the shenanigans don't seem to be stopping. You know, they seem to be increasing. And as Jedidiah has said, and he's made it perfectly clear, he says, nobody is escaping my offense. He said that I will fight seniors. I will fight women. I will fight children. He even said, if children, I'll fight them too. So my thing to you is, what kind of person is this person? This is a person who needs a lot of psychological help. He's a maniac, and he needs to be behind some cold, hard bars. And, you know, hopefully when the law catches up to him, that will happen. And by the way, I do want to say one thing. Let's keep an eye out on Flynn, because Flynn is coming up. Our case, myself and Hassan's case, which he absolutely lied about, in order to get Hassan arrested is coming up on the 31st of October. That's coming up. And I mean, so my thing is there are going to be some more October surprises. I'm going to promise y'all. But, we hope that by the time 2026 rolls around, the New Year's, that, we can say that we literally got rid of this nemesis to the community, or this agent of chaos, which is what we like to call him. What do you guys have to say? Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dominate. Go ahead.
Right. No, it's okay. Oh, and I see Status pointed out. He said, I liked the way Melville pointed his finger. Powerful. Right. I mean, and Melville's, he's passionate, but at the same time, I don't know, at least in my experience with him, he's pretty laid back. He, like me, gave Mayor Clark, we all supported Mayor Clark originally, especially for his 2019 run. He gave Clark so many chances to do the right thing. I did. So many other people did. So if Melville's getting riled up and he's calling out Mayor Clark and Jedidiah Brown and saying this is inappropriate, why are you saying that people that are bringing up the fact that we're not addressing the issue of prostitution on Halstead Street? Why is Jedidiah saying that it's because the people or the person complaining is a jilted client of the prostitutes, and not only did Jed say that, but then last night in his live, not only did he threaten me, but then he doubled down on accusing that person of being
frequenting prostitutes,
right, and that the only reason he was bringing it up was because he was upset, and doesn't get along with the prostitute anymore. But it's just the fact that like a nice elderly retired gentleman like Melville has to speak out against Clark and Jed. I mean, it just shows you what sort of horrible things they're doing. And then when we speak out, then they only get worse, right? They label us as the bullies. We're the bullies. We're petty. We're, he calls me all sorts of horrible things, faggot and pussy, he said yesterday. It's disgusting. Now, freedom of speech, I mean, people can say what they want to say, but he's also threatened to, whoop my ass and do other things too. So like I said, I totally support freedom of speech. I know we've talked about that before, but where I draw the line is defamation. And then, if you're inciting people to violence, but I mean,
thank you.
He can call me any names he wants. He has a right to do that and I will defend his right to
it's his first. Let me get interrupt. Can I chime in? It's his it's his right to say whatever he wants, as long as he's not threatening people. And the thing is, he has no discipline. And the thing is, I've got probably several violations, and I don't even need them all, because my case is ironclad. So he's got a right to be intimidated and scared and fearful about what's going to happen on the 31st. And thank you, Stephen. Yes, y'all, please hit the like button. This is a good question, and y'all, we're not sharing all the comments tonight for the purpose of time, but please put them in there, and we'll take at least 5 to 7 questions from this point on, and then we're going to get off. But this is a question from Miss Crazy. What did Jed say to Hassan about to get him arrested? You want to address that, or should I? Hey, no apologies.
Oh, Hassan.
What did Jed say?
Hey, no apologies. Yeah, I think, wasn't that just I think he claimed that Hassan violated the order of protection. That I don't know how Jed even got one in the first place, because Hassan never did anything.
Plus it's not his property, so he's getting an order of protection on the property which he's claiming to live at, and he's claiming that he's squatting at, which was not the truth. It was a lie. So the thing is, once this is found out and the judge sees that this guy lied, then I'm hoping that Hassan's attorneys will have this guy penalized, because he should be. So that's what happened. He got the order of protection under false pretense, and I think the judge is smart enough to see that for what it is. Yep. And let's see, Dave. Thank you. Hey, Dave. How's it going, Dave Bryson? Let's see. This is one from Status. Mr. Brown and Mayor Clark both utilized tools of intimidation with only slight differences in style. Yeah, one is outwardly, and one is covertly, and one is overtly, but they're both poor reasons and pathetic at what it is, because I mean, anybody can see. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that they try with this intimidation thing. So, that's what it is. Let's go back and let's see if there was any more points. If you guys we'll take 3 questions. I like the 3 question thing. We'll take like 3 more questions and then we're gonna end it.
Someone did ask what was the issue with the prostitute. I think we explained it, but again, Jed had made a video and he doubled down on his claims on his live last night, but saying that someone that always complains about issues with the prostitutes, which is mostly Melville. Okay, so he didn't mention a name, but I mean, Melville is the person that will usually bring it up because he's run for the 6th Ward alderman seat before. He lives right by there. So he's just keeping a watch on his area. And he's like, gosh, nothing seems to get done about that. So then Jed went out of his way twice now to say that, well, the person that always asks about the prostitutes up there says it because he's a jilted former lover and client of one of the prostitutes. So, and it's just like, again, freedom of speech, right? But that you're really getting into defamation there. This is a married man, he's a minister. So now you're basically trying to say that he's out propositioning the prostitutes on Halstead, and you don't have any proof, you don't have any evidence. But I guess we know Jed doesn't need any evidence. He constantly puts my life at risk telling people that I've abused children, and I always remind people that, like, you can't certain things you can't say. That's really the worst as far as defamation, I think, because even people when they're in prison, if they were convicted of a sexual crime against children, they have extremely strict protections on those people, because otherwise all the people in prison will kill those people. The other criminals, they don't care. You could have murdered 10 people and they'll leave you alone. But if they know that you even touched a child, especially anything sexual, your life is in danger if you're in prison. So I mean, Jed knows these things when he's saying, when he's sharing these things. He knows, like, that's putting my life at risk, inviting someone to attack me. When he's making those comments about Melville, he knows he's a respected elder in the community. He knows that he's a minister. He knows he's married. So I mean, is that really what a true activist does, Amir? I mean, to me, that
a true activist doesn't sow seeds of chaos. A true activist brings resolution, and this guy is an agitator, but no, he's worse than an agitator. I mean, we have the graphic. What it is he's an agent of chaos, and some people say agent of destruction. I'll go for either or, and that's really what he is. And this is an interesting one, Ryan. Check this out. I didn't hear this one, but if Nate is the CEO of INA, then that's his business. INA for us is not a real organization. I don't know how you feel about it. So for me, if somebody wants to get their name muddy and get their name dirtied up and go down with a ship, it's not going to help Nate. It's not going to help Stephanie and all of the other ones. It's not going to help them. So, I mean, if that's what they want to do, then let them do it, So, I mean, honestly, that would be a serious decline from the position which he tried to run for in the past. And when I had personally seen Nate, I said, Nate, maybe why don't you, instead of trying to run for the top position in the township, why don't you run for school board or something that, you can prove yourself and, but going this route, you might even jeopardize that. So, hey, that's your business between you and whoever else. But I mean, again, that's, that would be tragic. I don't think Nate is a bad dude, but, he's going to lose a lot of points with a lot of people from, if that is true. So there it is, crazy.
It's very disappointing. Yeah, I'm very disappointed to see that Stephanie and Nate want to work with him. Did you see Silverback Girl's comment though about
that's crazy.
Jed's claiming to squat at a property, but Jed lives with his mom.
Oh yeah.
Jed lives with his mom, and basically he's saying tell Hassan to call Jed's mother to
Well, we know that he doesn't live there
was
because legally he's so. I mean, this thing has been dragging on, but I mean, Hassan has two attorneys now, and none of them are dumb. And listen, if it comes down to them needing some assistance or whatever, which they literally don't, then I would have no problem. But I mean, again, he has trained attorneys, so I mean, it is what it is, and you know, a little birdie told me that the Harvey police got tired of the theatrics of Mr. Brown, and they told him if you do one more thing in Harvey, you're getting arrested. But you know, and since I heard that, he literally hasn't been done. He hasn't been doing anything, and if he does, again, hey, we got tape, we got video, and we got courts of law, and hey, one way or another, it's going to prove itself out. It's going to play itself out, which it already has. So there it is.
Oh, and did you see that French said Jed's spying on you, Ryan? It's not funny. Oh boy, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, yeah, it's very he and his team are very creepy.
Yeah. Well, and like Status just said, and thank you, French, for alerting Ryan to that. I think he realizes some of that. But Mr. Brown lives and breathes in chaos. Hey, look, I want you guys to look at this graphic and look at it for what it is. This is what this gentleman is, and it is the quintessential spirit definition and definement of who Jedidiah Brown is. He is an agent of chaos. There's no advocacy. There's no activism. There's no community help. There is nothing but breaking shit down, putting people in conflict with each other, just doing things to dismantle whatever he touches and it turns to dust. So, that's, for me, these are the type of people that, and I don't know where he could go, where he needs to go, but jail would probably be the starter, but I can think of even worse places than that, to say the least. So, two more questions, and then we're going to wrap up. Hassan has high quality attorneys. I think Hassan's attorneys are good. I mean, I think that, eventually I think they're going to work it out for him on October 31st, that case. So keep an eye out for that. Mine will be October 31st as well. And yes, Jed does bring chaos. Nate could have a run for trustee. Look, as far as what these folks do politically and all that, it's up to them. But when you start colluding with agents of chaos, it's not a good look. So if that's what it is, then that's what it is. Did you see this one real quick? Don't forget he hung out with, who was that?
Redmond. Who's Redmond? Yeah, Redmond Cemetery. I'm not sure.
We don't. If you want to elaborate on that, we got about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna get off. Hey guys, hit the like button, and then you have Ryan's page, Ryan's Gay Chicago, and let me see if I can share it for you, Ryan, because I know you don't. Let me see if I can share that, and then yeah, there it is. I'll share that in the stream, and guys, like it. I'm covering we will continue to update you guys on everything that's going on in the township and the actions on the ground. Also, we are, just so you guys know, and myself and Ryan, and even we discussed it with some legal specialists. We won't say who, but we're thinking about doing a training class on just self-protection from every aspect of how you can utilize the course to protect yourself from bullying and cyber harassment. So we're going to put that model together for Thornton Township and the surrounding communities and anybody else who wants to benefit from it, because I think it's very necessary. And Ryan can tell you, we were in court. We were in court today, and so many people just don't understand this process and how to navigate through it. And it hurts, because when you are bullied or physically attacked with violence, there's an emotional effect. So, you got the emotions going on, and then you got to try to navigate things legally. So, we definitely want to help people through these processes and give some training on a reoccurring basis. So we're working on that. Something probably a digital roundtable for maybe between now and October.
Mm.
I think it'd be worthwhile. So just keep watching out for that. And maybe it'll be a 30-minute roundtable, just small, basic, simple things that people can reference. And we're there to answer questions and help people out. As far as the INA, and again, this is not a real organization. It's not a bona fide organization, and there's no legitimacy to people who dox people and harass people. That's all that they're doing.
Mm.
So my thing to you guys is okay. French said I'll explain later. Okay, French, let us know because I'm definitely because I mean if somebody's hanging out in the cemeteries, then I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know.
Mm.
Hit the like button and share. Thank you, Ramona.
Oh,
So,
you know what French was saying? He was saying Jeb was friends with Lavelle Redmond. I don't know Lavelle's background very much, but I know we've learned that Raheem Sharks, the guy that Jed has been using as his bodyguard and who was really very violent with Amir, especially on July 14th, that he has a murder charge
and multiple other charges. Jedidiah has a long history. He's definitely had an in-depth history, but Raheem probably has a very sordid history. There's no hiding from this thing. There's no fear in me. I mean, for me, if these guys want to violate, then it can be dealt with one or two or even three ways. So, I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to keep utilizing the law. But if we have to take it anywhere else, then it just has to go there. And that would be unfortunate, but we are prepared for whatever scenario. And July 14th will never happen again. And I'm going to guarantee that. I will say that Raheem Sharks just got served an order of protection last week. Jed made that known, and he said it was disgusting that happened. But I mean, it's disgusting that you guys continue to violate. That's what's disgusting to me. It's disgusting that you guys go after helpless seniors and helpless, people in the community, and and make a mockery of justice and community like none other that I've seen. So that's what's pretty disgusting to me. And you know what? I won't stop until every bit of the discussion is taken out of my stomach because I can't stand it and I won't stand for it. So, it's crazy. I'm going to say it's crazy summarize it. We're all working to get the word out about Stephanie. Oh, really? Hold on. We're all working to get the word out about Stephanie Weiderman being the INA secretary. She is always speaking in the INA Facebook group. Well, you know what? Again, if that's what she wants to do and she wants to ruin her credibility, I know, that's on her. And hey, let the chips fall where they're made. There are two ways to fight these things, from what I know. And then I'm gonna turn it over to you, Ryan. Then we can end this. The court of law and the court of public opinion. One can influence the other. The courts of public opinion can influence the court of law, but the court of law is definitely an institution that we have to do things in. We've won our biggest battles. We won the Civil Rights Act of 1964, court of law. We won, I mean, I can just go down the line and continue talking about a lot of the legal battles that we fought and we won in courts of law. So, we can't supersede it. We have to deal with it, but we have to understand when we're approaching these judges how we navigate with them. If you're not an attorney, you don't have to speak in legal language because they don't expect you to, but you got to be able to tell your case in a substantial way and explain it to them that they will understand. And once you learn that, then you learn how to win in these cases. That's what attorneys do. That's what good attorneys do. I mean, remember Johnny Cochran? If it don't fit, you must acquit. And that really is what won OJ his freedom. If it don't fit, you must acquit. So my thing to you guys is it's ways to go about going how to do things, and we just got to learn systems. All right. We have mentally lost Jed. Well, Jed was mentally lost a long time ago. So if anything else is definitely a level of decline. Keep up the good work, Amir and Ryan. Craig. crazy. You keep up the good work too. We appreciate you. And yes, INA is not
Yeah,
a real
thank you.
organization. What do you have to say, Ryan, in ending up our call? I'll give you the floor.
Thanks again, everybody, for your support and your concern for my safety, because I do get those messages, those emails. So I really, and I'm doing my best to stay safe, because, no matter what people might say, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're taken care of, right? Because otherwise, how can we help other people if we don't even have our own safety secured, or we don't have a place to live or a place to eat or whatever. So that's why I do take this stuff seriously, and yes, I'm grateful for all of you, and we're going to continue. We'll continue fighting for what's right for our communities.
For Christmas, Jed, fresh new socks for Jedi. Not even fresh new socks, but how about a fresh new uniform, fresh new residence? I see it coming. Metropolitan Correctional Center.
But I wonder. I wonder even where Jed lives. It's very just logistically, it's very confusing. I feel like it's very, very disappointing. For someone that I did initially think was trying to help people. To see all the hurt that he's is causing and has caused.
And Samaje, the Samaje case. I'm sorry, Ryan. If I cut you off, let me stop. I'll let you complete that.
Okay. You're good.
The Samaje case was the young Joliet, the 16-month-old, 17-month-old, and we're still working on resolution for that. So Crazy just mentioned that. Thank you for the little girl was taken too soon. And Jed got into that, and he got mixed up into that, and he tried to scam off of that, him and his last organization. So we appreciate it, So thank you for calling that out. Oh, and by the way, guys, I showed, this is my Amir Shakur Speaks YouTube. Can you guys please go and like that? Can you please go to that and like it and subscribe to it? There's no subscription fee. I'm not a big timer like, Ryan and the guys, but, I'm just kind of getting, I'm coming from a journalist standpoint, so I'm just kind of getting my stuff together. So, but if you guys can please like that, I would greatly appreciate it before we get off this live within 2 minutes. And this is Ryan's Gay Chicago. So you guys like his page. He's actually are you over 1,000 yet? 1,000 subscribers?
I'm close. So yeah, if you guys can help me get to 1,000, I don't know. I'm not even sure exactly what happens at 1,000, but maybe something good. It's a nice round number. So yeah, if you guys can get me up, get me some.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you can get me some more subscribers, get Amir some more subscribers, it'll help us to get the message out.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Minister Pearsley, say hello to everybody. You're on live right now. Say hello.
Good day, everybody. How's everybody doing?
They said
Joseph, how are
you? Ryan said, hey, Joseph. They said they're doing okay, and they said, you owe us all lunch, okay? At Red Lobster, okay?
That's not a problem. That ain't no problem. I like to eat too, so it's all good.
Hey, Joseph, I'll give you a call right back, okay? I'm actually on the live right now. You can check out as well. So we're getting off in like 3 minutes, all right?
Okay.
All right. All right, so, guys. Who said this? Brown scamming, shock, I tell y'all, right? I'm doing good. Share, Yelvel. Okay, help me. Share Yelverton. Yelverton, is that how you pronounce it? If I mispronounce it, I apologize. But yes. I'm doing fine. Brian's doing fine. Beth's doing fine. Minister Peasley's doing fine. And like I said, the last thing, I'm going to say it one more time. We are turning the corner. I do believe we are slowing this down, this agent of chaos. I'm going to say it again. Agent of chaos. So let me get on my microphone, you guys. Agent of chaos. We're slowing him down. He is not. And the thing is, if you guys are threatened, harassed, cyberbully, feel free to let us know. Go into the Thornton Township, go on to several Ryan's pages, message, email us, and we definitely wanna address that, especially if it's coming from some of our more challenged areas like Harvey, Dalton. If you guys have any stories to tell and you want to tell a story, let us know that too. If something you want, if you want to even join, and make your voice resound, we're gonna have community forums in the near future going forward, so people can bring their issues to the round table and talk about it. So these things are happening. And I do not sound like Barry White. I'm just letting you know. Maybe, hold on. Maybe I can Maybe I could do a little bit of Elvis. This is my Elvis impression. How does that sound, y'all? All right, y'all. Well, hey, look, I appreciate it. Ryan, any last comments, concerns, criticisms, anything from you?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me. And
all right,
we'll be talking to everybody soon. I'm sure we'll have more things to report.
Hit that like and subscribe. Thank y'all. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. Watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight. It's his comeback show. Me and Ryan have spent time on. I spend more time than Ryan, but Jimmy's my man. So let's support him tonight. He'll be on tonight. So let's watch that comeback show. Should be pretty interesting.
Yay for free speech. Yeah.
Oh, free speech did take a win. We got a win for free speech. So, and civil liberties, right? So I appreciate y'all. And Shara said, y'all know Barry White literally fathered 2.8 billion kids. Hey, that's for another show. So we'll get to that on the next show.